Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Zara Anam, and I'm a first-year MBA here at MIT Sloan. I'm part of the operations team working on this year's ClimateCAP Summit, and I'm excited to share more about our carbon neutrality project. As we've been discussing today, climate leadership isn't just about big ideas, it's about how those ideas show up in practice. The ClimateCAP Summit brings together an amazing group of people who are bringing these ideas to life, while creating space for learning, connection, and momentum. But our summit also has a footprint. In 2023, the Sloan Sustainability Initiative set out to embrace a carbon neutral strategy for their sustainability summit, aiming to minimize the environmental impact of the in-person event and responsibly offset any remaining carbon emissions. Naturally, we wanted to do the same thing when hosting the ClimateCAP conference. Our commitments to a carbon neutral strategy centers around three main levers. First, relevance. Our programming explores climate solutions across sectors, so we wanted the summit itself to reflect those same principles. Second, precedent. We're aiming to build a practical framework or a playbook that other student groups and future summits can use to design more sustainable events. And third, responsibility. We recognize the value of gathering in person, but that also means acknowledging and accounting for the environmental impact that comes with it. So, how did we actually approach this? We developed a carbon accounting framework to capture the summit's full footprint across all three emission scopes defined by the Greenhouse Gas Protocol. To make this more actionable, we broke emissions into 5 categories: transportation, catering, utilities, production, and a miscellaneous category, which includes a built-in safety factor. This allows us to move beyond rough estimates and really understand the emissions associated with the ClimateCAP Summit. We also approached this as a multi-stage process over several months. First, we defined what to measure and built a baseline model using historical data and industry benchmarks. Then, we refined those estimates using more specific inputs, like attendee travel data, catering details, and live stream assumptions. And finally, after the summit, we'll conduct a post-event audit using real data collected on-site to arrive at our most accurate footprint. We're also including a conservative buffer in our estimates to ensure we can fully offset emissions and meet our carbon neutral goal. With that being said, I want to take a moment to introduce our carbon neutrality sponsor, Global Emissionary. Global Emissionary is a US-based firm that accelerates the adoption of sustainable road construction by converting lower carbon paving methods, such as cold-in-place recycling, into verified carbon credits. Authors and project developers of a Verra-approved methodology, they help contractors monetize emissions reductions, supporting a transition from traditional hot mix asphalt to eco-friendly circular infrastructure solutions. They've been a valuable partner in helping us think through how to approach this work with rigor and credibility, not just in measuring emissions, but in how we offset them responsibly. I'll now introduce Shubham Deshmukh from Carbon Emissionary to share more about the work that they do.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Zara, for the kind introduction. So as Global Emissionary, we are into the business of recycling roadways. We do that by a method called cold-in-place recycling, where we use the existing material, mill the existing roadway material, reconstitute it with an emulsion, and repave the road with that same material. In this process, we are not using any virgin aggregate. We are not heating the bitumen, the fossil-based bitumen, and we are not hauling material from the job site to any central plant. So in this process, we are actually reducing the emissions. And as you can see, we are working with 10 different contractors across USA, and we have roughly avoided 400,000 tons of emission, carbon dioxide equivalent, during our 4 or 5 years of existence as a carbon project developer. And we have we work in 25 states across USA. And in parallel to that, we have these different pathways also that we are exploring. So all of these are avoided emissions, but currently we are exploring a removal pathway by integrating biochar into asphalt. And this, a few pilots will be launched with Louisiana Department of Transportation in the month of May and June. Apart from that, we do these EPD and LCA calculation for different startups. So we were the first one who developed an EPD for a hemp-based product out of North America. And apart from that, we also are helping different events to offset their emissions. MIT ClimateCAP 2026, this summit. We have done similar thing for DC Climate Week last year as well, and for a Princeton University event as well. Yeah, and okay, and next, yeah.
Thank you, Shubham. At this point, I'd like to share some of the key data insights from this year's analysis. So as you can see, a majority of the emissions come from transportation, which includes travel to ClimateCAP and hotel stays. Because we have over 300 plus attendees traveling from out of town, air travel and various ground transportation contributes to the majority of these emissions, along with the hotel stays, which we've assumed on average is 2 nights over the span of the conference. Luckily, we were able to capture the data associated with this category through attendee registration, ensuring that we have accurate information. The other 3 categories included data that was collected by our team, with the majority of the emissions being associated with catering for the conference over the span of the 2 days. We've asked our caterers to help us with the data collection to make sure we're capturing the ingredients we're using in the food that we're serving, as well as taking all the drinks and alcohol into account. The breakdown of utilities emissions accounts for electricity, heating, cooling, etc., over the span of the conference, and we're very lucky that MIT's Office of Sustainability actively collects data that has helped us track the energy use and the emissions associated with using our event spaces. Lastly, you'll see that the smallest category is our various production and AV needs, as well as various miscellaneous items such as badges and signage. For all categories, excluding utilities, we used EcoInvent and DEFRA emission factors to finalize our calculations. We'll be sharing a full carbon neutrality report after the summit as a public resource, so others can build on what we've done here. As you can tell, our goal is not just to host a carbon neutral event, but to contribute to a broader effort to make sustainability more actionable and embedded in how we operate. Thank you again to Shubham and the Global Emissionary team for helping us take on this task. Thank you. Sorry, one more.
So the credits that we are using to offset the emission for this conference comes from the I-64 Virginia Interstate Highway. Yeah, that's just, okay, thank you.